is education, so that when your days come and you need to come back home, you can leave your children here continuing with your investments and retire back home to a very peaceful retirement, and that is what all of you would wish. I am aware sufficiently that you know what is going on at home, because you people do a lot of work back home by supporting families. And therefore, on a daily basis, you are in conversation with the people back home, and you, like all of us, are concerned about what is going on at home. And before I go into serious things, on a light note, cousin Omari, ako wapi Omari? Amanda. Where is Omari, the guy who is married in Lemuru? Omari? Omani. Where is he, the guy who is married in Lemuru? So when you see him, you tell him, traditionally, and I think that's why he has left. I think somebody from Mulima must have sold me. Because I wanted to tell him, traditionally, all the girls are my daughters. Yes. And payment of dowry is a life thing. So anytime you meet your father-in-law, you must. So I had hoped to kutana naye nyuma ya hema anipatie kitu in dollars because of having my daughter from Lemuru. Let me say this with a light touch. Let me say this. Back home, it's tough. There are tears. There is anguish. There is fear. There is uncertainty. Our children between the ages of 15 to 24 are being abducted and killed by the state. More than 200 kids since 2024 have been abducted, tortured, and killed, and others have disappeared. Parents worry. When you don't know where your child is, you cannot sleep. If you call your child and the phone is off, you are worried. And the situation has been worsened. That Kasongo and his boys have now gone berserk, and they no longer fear, and they no longer pretend. The CS in charge of Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, in broad daylight, gave an order to police to shoot, to kill. A week later, Kasongo himself, shamelessly, in total impunity and total disregard of the Bible teaching that thou shalt not kill, in total violation of the Kenyan Constitution, publicly announced that our children should be shot in the leg. The chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations, Nelson Koech, corrected Kasongo very angrily that the kids should not be shot in the leg, they should be shot in the head. That is the situation we face as a country, where in total disregard of the Constitution, against biblical teachings, a president of a country elected by the people has the audacity to give orders for the extermination of our children. That is why Kenyans are saying, Bwana Kasongo, even if you pipe milk to our homes, even if you build roads made of gold, even if you paid us every day 100,000 shillings, your hands carry the blood of our children. And there is no way we can vote for you. And that is why the one-term movement is now like a religion in Kenya. Everywhere you go, where 2 or 3 are, that is a discussion. In the Uber, in the salon, in the matatu, in the bar, the discussion in the country is that this man must go because his hands bear the blood of our children. I want to say that this situation cannot be allowed. And since he is not pretending anymore about the killing of the children, he has announced it himself. The people of Kenya have no choice but to make sure they send him home and remove him from office through an election. And that is what is going on. Besides that, the economy is on a nosedive. Pending bills, people who worked with the government for many years, he has refused to pay them. They are owed more than 900 billion Kenya shillings. If you look at the Nation newspaper every morning, there are about 10 to 12 pages of auctions of properties being sold belonging to businessmen who did work for government and they have not been paid for the last 3 years. The only consolation is that nobody is buying the property because nobody has the money to buy it. So they keep on re-advertising every week because there is nobody who has money to buy the properties. William Ruto found a working education system. President Mwai Kibaki, the third president of the Republic of Kenya, the greatest leader of our time, brought free primary education, and President Uhuru Kenyatta improved it by extending to secondary schools and also bringing 100% transition from primary to secondary school. He found a working university financing model and a help, a working system most of you went through, including I, that he put it aside and brought something that is not working. As we speak, many university students are at home. They cannot access university education. Most principals of secondary schools and head teachers of primary schools are living in fear and in hiding because of being auctioned. The schools are being auctioned because they have not paid suppliers, because money meant for capitation has not been provided by government. So the education system is facing near collapse. The health system, and you people here in America know how important and critical a working health system means to our people. He found a system called NHIF that was struggling but working, that needed improvement. The people at NHIF had come up with a program that needed 800 million Kenya shillings to reform it and make it workable and compliant with the present times. Kasongo came and discarded that system and brought something called SHA and SHIF at a cost of 104 billion Kenya shillings, money that he is stealing with his cronies. And despite stealing all that money, the system is not working. And you people know that because you have parents back at home. You know when they go to hospital, they cannot get their bills paid by insurance. Again, that is something that he has destroyed. He came up with something called the housing levy, ostensibly to construct affordable houses for the people of Kenya. It is not the work of government all over the world to construct houses. Governments put up roads, water, electricity, drainage, sewage. It is the work of the private sector to construct houses. But he has put it by force because he has business interest in company with some Asians to supply cement, steel, and iron sheets. So the whole affordable housing scheme is about corruption. It's about conflict of interest. Again, you find in agriculture, all the sugar factories have been sold to Asians in partnership with